Welcome in, welcome in. Oh, look at that. You're laughing as we come in on the show. What did you
Because
see? What's funny? What's up?
in your Discord, dude.
Oh, in
His
our Discord?
first thing someone says, when did Kyle become risk manager? Dude, still Degen, Mr. Cliff.
Welcome in, everybody.
But stats don't lie, and we'll take a look at them.
All right, we'll look at the stats. We'll break it in. Okay, welcome in, everybody. As always, trading is risky. Be sure, manage your risk. Don't gamble. Don't take assessments with money you don't have and afford that you can afford to lose, kind of thing. Anyways, cool. So we have damn good trading on the show. I don't think I've ever seen your stuff, but I hear you're pretty funny, so that's a good thing. You have a bunch of stuff to share with us today. Like I have zero idea. Raj just books the people, and I'm like first time meeting the person. Generally, we kind of like to kick off with like origin story. Where did you start? How did you start? How long have you been trading? And stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we can start off with the basic intro. So, I mean, I've been trading for 5 years now, for like 5.5 years now. And I basically lost my ass for the first 2 years. My third year, still lost my ass in the beginning of it. And then I went on like a huge winning spree and just made a ridiculous amount of money in like a week, like crazy amount of money. And then, yeah, I mean, my trading journey continued. I'm still trading. I found prop firms. I'm actually having my first red year with prop firms right now. I've been trading prop firms for about 2 years. And yeah, I mean, this year started off as one of my best years ever, right? I was up like, $140,000 from futures in January. And then and like 95,000 of that just being from prop firm payouts. And then I just kind of just started doing Degen shit again, right? And ended up just going on a massive losing streak for like 8 to 9 months. Like literally gotten like $1,000 payout since January, and just been having a terrible time. And that's kind of how we got the title of this show, right? From Degen to risk manager, because I actually did tighten up all my risk settings, both mentally and like physically now. Like Project X is what I'm using as my main trading platform. So now my mental risk management fails, I have the Project X safeguard to make damn sure, I can't tilt and blow all my accounts in one day. Because that's been my downfall this year, right? Like I'll still have, great months, great weeks, but then like I'm like so close to a payout, or something happens, and I just tilt in one day and ruin all my progress, right? So that's where Project X came in, helped me a ton so far. I mean, I've only hit DLL one time since then. I usually just stop by myself somehow, before like I didn't have the mental capacity just to stop trading when I'm in the red, right? I would just fucking get all pissed off and just start clicking buttons and blow all my accounts. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of my story, briefly coming into the end of the year now, Q4, which I'm hoping will flip me from red to green on the year. I am minus, I think, $50,000 on the year right now, but we have so many accounts right now, and they're somewhat close to a payout. So one payout, and it's like I think $90,000. So we could flip back to green potentially, as long as we stick to our plans and our risk settings, which have been going pretty well for the past month. So I believe.
Do you think part of your success has actually been from your really aggressive risk taking? Because that's what I find. Sometimes, really good traders can go in these like boom and bust cycles, right? Where your aggression sometimes really pays off. But when it doesn't, that's really where you always try to dig yourself out, but it just doesn't work sometimes. And that's where you just kind of blow yourself up. You implode. You're done. And that's where having things like Project X, where you have the internal risk settings, where it's like, I need this much room to be able to be very aggressive. And if I can't make anything happen with that much room, I'm just got to be done for the day. And I think that's the best thing for most traders. But you got to figure out like, how much money do I need to be super aggressive? And that's the balancing you got to do, because sometimes if you don't have enough risk, then you can't be aggressive. And that's actually what makes you very, very successful is your aggression, right? So it's like that weird balancing. Is that where you're at right now, is where you kind of set a threshold and then you look to trade within that? Or do you change it on the daily? Like, are you really emotionally, trading? Like where are you at right now?
So right now,
where you're at.
Yeah,
but most people don't take
payouts.
payouts. So, yeah.
yeah. It's what, like 5% of prop traders actually get a payout, something like that. But so the thing is with like super aggressive trading, like I used to do, and I haven't really been that aggressive lately. I've just been kind of taking it slow. But the thing is with like super aggressive trading, kind of like, how I became profitable, is those winning days would be so fucking massive because I put on so much size and I would just diamond hand through like an entire trend, like, hundreds of points or whatever it is. And those like very few days that I would actually catch that giant trend would, wipe out all the days where I let my account go to zero or, just took an L on the day. So yeah, it's tough because, with that mentality, you only get those giant trend days every so often, right? And when you take so many losing days in a row, it kind of like messes up your head to the point where either you start panic closing too fast and you don't get that giant trend day that's keeping you alive because, your psychology is just cooked from so many L's. And then and that's usually where the bust cycle comes in for the boom and bust trading, right? So yeah, I mean, right now I'm just in base hit mentality, right? I'm just compounding very slowly. I am using one mini. I have my risk settings locked at 2 minis maximum, but I haven't traded 2 minis in a long time. And the only reason I'm trading minis period is because most of my accounts are like 150K to 300K accounts. So, I think one mini is like a lot of size, even for a 150K account, right? Which is essentially like a $4,500 to $6,000 account, right? Because that's the max drawdown. I think one mini is still huge size, so I'm pretty comfortable just trading one mini, and I'm really, really locked in on my entries, like trying to take the best entries possible, wait for like either a pivot point or like a key level to get swept, see how it responds, and then enter on it. So, it could be still a little bit too much size with just one mini, right? But I'm keeping my take profit and my stop loss pretty tight. Like yesterday, I mean, today we, this swept the pivot point. I caught it, and then actually, so I got a little bit greedy today because I thought I caught the high a day over here at this point, and my TP is 40 points, right? It's like $800 on Project X or whatever. My stop loss is 600. But whenever I do like a counter trend trade like this, I'll usually make my stop loss like $300. So that's what I did today. And then I had my $800 TP right here, right? It's 40 points. So from 224 to 184 would have been my TP. And I would have missed it by 2 ticks, but it doesn't matter because I got greedy anyways. And I moved my TP down here because this is where I thought we were going to stop, which we did get to eventually, but I brought my stop loss into profit and got taken out, right? But that pretty much sums up my trading, right? So when I live day trade every single day, right? So I'm always live when I'm trading, and for the longest time, I thought I had to take trades to be entertaining when, you know, I'm live, which, you know, could be kind of true because people want to see you take trades. But I would get like this weird pressure, like I would know like where a sick entry is just based on the charts, usually like the 15-minute chart and stuff like that. Sometimes, you know, even the 5-minute chart. But I get this weird pressure to like, you know, oh, this is gonna be my entry. Oh, but it wicked right here. Oh, I have 100, 200 people watching me right now. Don't miss the move, and I would just enter and I just get ripped, right? So for a while, I kind of let the live streaming get to me mentally. Plus, just, you know, whatever else was going on in my life, I kind of was letting my personal life kind of fall into my trading, or, you know, take a toll on my trading, affect it. And really what I've changed very recently and is how I've gotten so many like I completely flipped like my win rates above 50%. It's usually hovering around 50% anyways, but my day win rate is just, you know, like 85% now. Is I could really chalk it up to like three things, right? I could chalk it up to Project X, thankfully not letting me blow out, because there was a day where I did hit the DLL and I probably would have tilted and blew out, right? So I could thank Project X for it. I could thank my morning routine that I recently introduced, which is basically like 10, 15 minutes before the live stream, go sit on my balcony and literally just meditate. Like close my eyes and just sit there and listen to the birds or whatever else is happening outside. And, you know, just clearing my mind. And then when I come to sit down, I'm chilling. In my head, I'm like, I don't have to take a trade today. Like in the history of my live streams, I've been live streaming for like almost 2 years now. I've only not taken a trade one day when I was live streaming, right? One day out of 2 years.
Wow, it kind of sounds like you're forcing trades.
Exactly. So now whenever I come to sit down and I go live, I tell myself in my head, I'm like, you don't have to take a trade today. Like, you just don't need to. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like a combination of those three things that I think has helped me immensely. Because, you know, I've been profitable. Well, technically only 2 years now, since year 3 is kind of getting cooked at this point. But we'll see. We still have a few months. But how I was profitable for 2 years is by you know, going through those boom and bust cycles. And in my first year, I got really lucky because I was trading SPX 0-day options, and I ended up fucking just catching massive trends in 1 week, right? Just full porting, you know, 25, 30K into a massive trend trade. I made like, I think like 520K in a week, right? And before then, I had like some blowout days. You know, I was like I actually had a really good month before this. I was really focused on risk management. I was making like $2,000 a day. I was keeping my size small, you know, $500 a day. And then I got super lucky, had this big boom, right? But before that, I've blown so many accounts that when I had that big boom, I had like what, 4 or 500K days in a row. Before that, I blew so many accounts that one of my risk management techniques was to only keep 25 to 30K in the account, right? So during my bust cycle, because, you know, that was the boom part, right? I made a ridiculous amount of money in like 1 week. During my bust cycle, I only lost like 25K, 30K, and it took me a while. I still had like some 60K days or whatever, but for some reason, after that week, I could never get another 100K day. I was chasing it so hard. Like in my head, I was just chasing it. And I had so many red days, blew so many accounts. I lost like half that profit that I made in that 1 week, right? And that's when I found prop firms. So the cost of prop firms, I already had like what, 250K profit still left from my options trading. That 250K went a long way in prop firms. And And then I started getting, payouts from Top Step and stuff like that. I got moved into Top Step Live. And ever since then, I've been just really honing in on prop firms, because prop firms really are like a golden goose, you could say, because it costs maybe like $200 for an eval all in with activation fee. Some less, some a little higher, depending whatever you want. But that's all you could lose, right? So if I was to bust all my accounts right now, it's a bad example because I have so many accounts, but I mean this is probably like $10,000 worth of accounts, right? If I was to bust, I would lose $10,000, right? Which is still kind of a lot of money. But how much I can make from all these accounts is, hundreds of thousands of dollars. So it's like prop firms are like just one of the most beautiful things that I ever found, and I love them so much in general. And my futures desk account is slowly grinding up there too. Got a $6,000 static daily loss limit on there, and a $12,000 profit target. And I mean, this cost me $30 a month. It was like I got it on sale, so it was like I think $400 or $500. Massive static drawdown, and I'm gonna go live and have daily withdrawals. Like, I mean, I just don't see the reason to use my own money anymore when I can just use prop firm accounts, right?
Yeah, there's definitely an edge in trading, firms, because if you know what you're doing, right? If you're just going to go in and gamble everything and don't really have an edge, then you're just going to turn your wheels and spend money. But if you kind of have a general idea of what you're doing, you can control emotions or be aggressive with those accounts, you can make a ton of money. Now, if the prop firm actually pays you out, that's a different story. It just depends. Hopefully you didn't get caught up in the fast track trading shenanigans that happen. Hopefully not. But, most of the firms have rules around you getting paid out. And then if you do too well, they're like, oh, well, we're going to go ahead and move you, or we can't offer accounts for you anymore. And it's like, yeah. So at least new firms are coming out all the time. So you can be like, well, I'll go check out this one, and I'll go check out this one. So you're kind of like diversifying your risk across multiple firms. So I think that's a good thing. But yeah,
only
there's
the
definitely
reputable firms. Yeah. So I learned my lesson with fast track trading, like you said.
Okay.
Like new firms, I just completely dodged them. The one like new firm that I actually like really like and trust is Lucid. And it's just because the team is great, and I've talked to them personally, and I think they're awesome. I mean, the futures desk isn't that new. I mean, you guys already have a nice track record. So yeah, I'm super weary of new firms, and people like to fucking just ape new firms all the time. And I didn't think it was possible for a prop firm to rug pull, but it is very possible. So if there's like a new firm that just sounds too good to be true, there's definitely a reason for it, and it's probably not gonna work out that well. So I learned that the hard way. So hopefully,
do you during your streams, do you share kind of your I guess system or thesis behind trading? Like what is it? Can you give me a quick overview of what you're actually doing in your trading? Are you using like major levels? Are you using order flow? Like what is it? What's your special sauce?
Yeah, so I mean, just like pivot points and trends, right? Once you identify a trend, the Degen in me sometimes wants to counter trend trade, right? So I mean, I did take a counter trend trade today, but I kept my risk minimal. But like just pivot points and price action and trends.
Okay, so let's say you get a pivot point, and from that pivot point, are you looking for like a pullback to that pivot point? Like, what's your methodology for getting into the trade? Like, what's your trigger? What's your signal to get into the trade, or does it change?
So usually I wait for, because NQ moves a lot like more wild than ES, right? I don't really trade ES because it's not wild enough for me. But NQ, what she typically likes to do is one of three things, right? Sweep a major pivot point, or get just below a major pivot point. So one of my criteria is, now that I'm playing like more, I'm trading more defensively, is I wait for the sweep of a pivot point, right? So my pivot point was like 24, 25-ish today. And ideally, I would have waited for the sweep, pullback, and then entered on another pivot point. Like this was my pivot point over here for the long entry, which I didn't take, and it worked out beautifully. But ideally, I wouldn't have counter trend traded today, and I would have just joined the trend like I wanted to right here. I would have damn near dead nuts cut the bottom too. And I was saying this before on my live stream, right? So yeah, to answer your question, on my live stream, I do always say what I'm thinking and where I'm targeting, either for an entry or a take profits. But yeah, I mean, today I took a counter trend trade. Probably not the best idea, but I saw the sweep. I saw it reject beautifully. So I entered after it swept, and then it kind of went up to break even. I moved my stop loss to just like the sweep of this, right? I was in at 24. I had like a $300 stop loss, so it was like somewhere up here. I gave myself a little bit of breathing room, but you know, if I'm gonna take a Degen counter trend trade, I'm not going to use my full stop loss, which my full stop loss is $600, right?
Do you have stats for counter trend trades like that?
Yeah, they're not good. They're bad.
So what is it that is it just the excitement of wanting to take the trade? What is it that gets you going on those counter trends? I know for me, it's like, oh man, if I can catch this move and it ends up reversing, like look how much I can get. And it's like, I fought that for so long. And then eventually I was like, no. And using framework helps me a lot, but now I'm like, when I see it, I'm like, no, I'll just look to get long. I don't care how far it's gone or how much further it can go. Like, why am I trying to time the top or bottom? Like, I've been run over way too many times. And yeah, the one time out of the 10 that you catch a good, counter trend trade, does it really offset all the times you got ran over? And the answer is no. Like, why? And I know it's tough, not to do it. And that's why you continue to kind of call yourself a certain name. But it's so hard not to do it because your brain's telling you, no, I gotta get, man, this is gonna be a good trade. And then you get into it, and then you tell yourself after the fact, you're like, I'm an idiot. Shouldn't have done it. I know I shouldn't have done it. And then tomorrow, the next day, or the next day after that, you see the same trade, and you're like, yeah, I think I'm gonna get in this. I think, yeah, I'm gonna take it. And then same process over and over.
That is basically what I did yesterday as well. So yesterday I was waiting for this cliff, right? I missed both of my short entries. So then I started knife catching and I got fucking blasted, right? But I moved my stop loss so tight. So it's, if I can't stop not taking the counter trend trades, then what I'm going to do is just try to minimize my stop loss. And, if I get wicked out, then I'll probably get pissed off, but I can only lose so much.
Do you have a threshold for how many losers in a row you'll take before you're like, okay, I gotta be done? Or not just where I have to be done, but where you notice tilt, like where you start, like you lose your shit and you don't care. You're going to prove the market wrong, or you're going to catch this trade eventually. You have that point where how many trades in a row that is.
Yeah, so I realized if I took 3 L's in a row, and we experienced this on my live stream, everyone with me together, during market open, I took 3 L's and I got bottom and top wicked on my first 2 trades, and I was fucking fuming, right? And then I took a third trade and I got wrecked again. And then that's when I was like over the edge. I'm like, you know what?
I'm gonna go full size.
I'm
size. Let's see what happens.
I was taking those trades with 1 mini. The market can't make me lose anymore. It can't piss me off any more than it already has. So then I started sizing up, and that was I blew all my accounts, right? So that was probably like 2 months ago now, something like that. And looking back on that, typically 3 losers in a row.
Okay, so here's my suggestion to you. So at 3, you're too far gone. My number is 2. If you have 2 losers in a row, get up, get off your desk, take a breath. And I know you're on live stream, but at least do something different, right? Talk to your audience, whatever. because that's the only time you're going to have to interject before tilt really takes over. Because once tilt's in at 3 trades or whatever, you're going to get to that point. I know way too many traders that are very, very, let's say, disciplined outside trading. But dude, once you're in that emotional state, good luck. Good luck.
It's cooked.
Like
you're cooked.
Yeah, you're yeah, exactly. You're cooked. So it's better to, I think, kind of find that trigger for yourself and be like, okay, let me take a break. Let me regain my composure, maybe jump out your patio, do some meditation, and see if that helps, because that may actually, stop you from really hurting yourself, but it may actually impact your aggressiveness. So there's times where your aggressiveness can pay off, and that's why it's better just have a daily stop if you are going to let your emotions take over sometimes. Where if you have that daily stop on all your accounts, it's like, I can only do so much damage. No big deal. I'll be back tomorrow. I'll feel okay tomorrow. And those emotions don't matter as much. So 2 different suggestions. It helps a lot. I mean, I don't know how many traders I coach, but I coach a lot of traders, and we find things that are actionable things that can help traders. So that would be a suggestion. Look at your data too. Like if you get run over, like at one point in my career, I always thought, scalping was the end game for me, and counter trend trading was it's that's what it is, right? And then I looked at my data. I'm like, dude, I'm a really shitty scalper. Like, why am I scalping if I'm not good at it? And I'll catch a really good mean reversion trade or something like that, and then I'll proceed to kill all my profits with a series of scalps. So after a while, I just really leaned into the data and be like, well, scalping's gone. This setup's gone, counter trend trading's gone. And then what happened is I trade way less. So I do less work, but make more money. And that's kind of where you got to get to in your career, is be like, I don't need to do busy work, because that's what scalping and taking extra trades is. You think you're doing a good job, but it's like, no, you're just eroding your edge. So less is more, I guess. Hopefully you find the same thing.
No, you're dead on. You're dead right. Like it's so hard to accept, though. You know what I mean? It's so hard to accept, and it's so hard to walk away, especially when you're tilting. And that's another reason why I love Project X. Like if I lose $1,500 on the day, I physically just can't take a trade anymore. or like you said, like I'm not the best scalper either. My scalping isn't terrible, but just riding a trend is usually how I make most of my money. And I put a trade limit on Project X, right? So at first it was five trades per day maximum. But then when I had that limit, I noticed that I wouldn't get out of the bad trades once things changed after my entry. Because I was like, oh, but I only have like 2 more trades left today. You know what I mean? So I bumped it up to 10. And I've never gotten there yet, I don't think. I'm usually just taking like 1 to 3 trades a day, regardless of what the risk settings are. But I think what's helping me massively is just knowing those risk settings are there, right? So it's kind of like, I don't have that fear of losing control because I have that safeguard now.
A lot of traders, like, I don't think they realize how important it is to have some type of system that helps you, right? Be that risk controls or risk manager or whatever. That's why these hedge funds and these other firms have risk managers, because everybody is going to, give into their weakness sometimes. And if you don't have somebody there watching out for you and telling you, no, dum-dum, you're not doing that, you're done for the day, and you can be pissed off at the person after that. But ultimately, they're saving you from so much pain, so much like just getting wrecked and, that gut punch that you had that happens to you. But I'm sure that's really been a game changer for you, is those risk controls. For the data that we have, because we're very data driven, right? We don't just make theories about what works, what doesn't work. We look at the data to tell, it guides us. Those are our guiding principles, is the data. And what I can tell you is we have a far higher pass rate on people that use TFDX, which is the Project X, because of risk control. That is the thing that helps people the most. So, you look at the 2 different platforms that we offer, like data streams, and by far, with the risk settings in place and those hard lockouts, people just have a lot more success. So it's real. And that's why I think it's good that traders find some type of accountability buddy. Like for you, you know, you have your live stream, so your kind of accountability, your accountabilities to those people, and then you have another layer of accountability, which is what? It's your built-in risk controls, and it's saved you. So keep using them, man. It's good stuff. All right, what questions do we have for our guy? I think that one's for you.
What psychological factors do you attribute your success to as a former Degen? What emotions did you control from Degen to not Degen? Amount of trades, such a big deal, dude. Because I noticed when I'm at peak degeneracy, I would take every trade that I could see, and there's a million okay trades a day, okay setups or whatever, and you know, I would take all of them. Like let's say, you know, it's chopping sideways, we're in the middle of the range, but it looks like it's setting up for a cliff or something like that. I would just enter in the middle of the range and, you know, probably continue ranging. I just get chopped the fuck out. So one of the main attributes I would say is just not looking for a trade all the time. I'm sitting, like nowadays, I'm literally thinking in my head, I don't need to take a trade today. And I'm just staring at the charts. I see something lining up, then my head starts thinking, I'm like, okay, well, it's doing this. You know, if it gets here, bounces off there, and then bounces off there, maybe the trend will continue. Or, you know, I basically plan a trade instead of just watching every candlestick and just like, you know, oh, this looks decent. You know what I mean? Now I'm actually planning trades before price gets there. And, you know, if it doesn't get there, then I'm not taking the trade. And then, you know, still rarely. I mean, I still only have one day that I haven't taken a trade in the past.
That's pretty crazy.
Because price usually gets there. I mean, if it looks like it's going to go somewhere, chances are it'll get there and it'll make a bunch of noise before it goes there. I'm just not getting caught up in the noise. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Cool. Next question. All right, Raj, what do we got? Next question. Anything?
Seems a lot of over trading / hitting DLL or busting accounts with the proper requirements. People need to trade X number of days and stay in low consistency setting. Yeah, I mean, well, you know, prop firms aren't here to be your friend, right? I mean, they're a tool you could use to make money, but if everyone starts making a bunch of money, then they're not going to exist, right? I mean, the futures desk is kind of an exception to that because they're looking for live traders and looking to kind of become a, you know, digital hedge fund type of deal. But 90% of the prop firms actually have those consistency days, and you got to trade X number of days, stuff like that. I mean, X number of days is good for data, right? Because, you know, some guys might have good days for like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days, whatever, and they blow it all in one day, right? So number of days is a good indicator for identifying if a trader is gonna, you know, make the company money in live. But consistency rules specifically, those are not there to to be your friend and, you know, make you money, right? I don't want to say I recommend it because it's kind of brutal, but you know, ignoring consistency rules and just going based off of trades is what I've been doing. And sure, it's making me take longer to get to my payouts, right? Like I would have a payout eligible right now if I just stuck to the consistency rules, potentially, right? Maybe I would. I don't know, because I did have a massive day and now I have a massive consistency target to get payouts. But long story short, the rules from prop firms are usually there to make the prop firm money and, you know, hope that they don't have to pay you out, or for them to identify if you're a really good trader, move you to live, and then make money off you there, right? Long story short, prop firms are amazing for us traders, but the psychological toll, if you overthink the rules, is exactly what prop firms want. you to do so they can make money off you, right? Now, if you ignore those and you prove to be a very good trader, then that's just fantastic, right? But I actually don't know where I'm going with this. A lot of over trading, hitting DLL or busting accounts is a prop requirement. Is it just me, or is this question
No, I mean, look, firms, you got to think about the different business models, right? Firms make money from traders signing up for assessments. Our firm is trying to push that and change it, and get people to make money in the brokerage, right? So I can tell you, if we got rid of consistency, we'd have all kinds of people get very lucky within 2 or 3 days. They would make a bunch of money, and then we put them in the brokerage, and they would fail miserably. Like, they would just lose the money. It's like, well, if we're looking for traders that actually perform in the brokerage, we want to make sure that they're consistent with risk. Number one, risk is like the biggest thing. Is we want to make sure that they're controlling the risk, because if you're putting 100% of your account, 40% of your account, 60% of your account in jeopardy every single day, like, dude, I don't care who you are or what win rate you have, like, you're not going to make it long term. You're going to blow up. Where if somebody comes in and they're risking 10% of their account, 20% of their account, and this is on the higher side, for assessments, 20 is kind of a safe spot. That's our minimum when we go to the brokerage. Like, that's what we recommend, because we have the data. Like, if you're risking over 20% anywhere in the account, if that's in the assessment or in the brokerage, your failure rate is like tenfold what it would be if you're risking less. And it really just comes to like risk of ruin and how much runway you need, right? Talking to him, he's saying that like he's had times where he's had like weeks in a row he lost. And if you're risking too much, you were going to just erode all of your money. Like, that's what happens. So consistency is basically the only filter we know of, that's been figured out to identify traders that are going to have consistent risk, not so much the profits. Like, profits are profits, more about the risk component of it, and not, counting on these windfall trades. Like, oh, I got lucky and I totally got all this money, and now I should go into a live account. It's like, a lot of times when we see that data and the traders like all over the place with their stuff, I honestly suggest those people, like, dude, we'll just pay you out. I don't want to see you lose the money in the brokerage. I'd rather just give you the money, man. If we can do that, I would love to do that, because I don't want you to just totally blow up me in the brokerage. I can tell you most of our successful traders in the brokerage all have really strong risk management. And that's the bottom line. I know it's not fun. It's not sexy. It's not the cool thing to talk about, but that's really what helps traders. It's the risk management. It's having the guardrails, and that's what we're trying to do for people. All right. Anyways, that one's for you.
But first of all, I completely agree with the risk management, right? So it's by far the biggest thing. Because if you survive long enough and you kind of know what you're doing, like, if you see a trend, you just join it. And even if the trend doesn't work, but your risk management at some point, eventually you will just catch a trend, and you'll be good. But if you can't actually do it because your risk management isn't there, you're gonna blow. Yeah. So I think risk management is fucking huge. How did you manage to afford a lot of challenges while losing in first 2 years? Oh, I was losing my personal money my first 2 years. I didn't even know about prop firms when I first started. Right. I went bankrupt almost my second year of trading. I started trading around COVID, like when I saw like that giant cliff from COVID, and I had a little bit of success, but I also didn't like put that much money into my brokerage account. I did end up losing all the money I put in there over my first few months trading, but then I quit. And then my second year, I had a business that was doing very well. Plus, I was working a job, right? I was a Lamborghini Bentley salesman, and I managed to save like $100,000, right? It was my first $100,000 of my life, and I was like, yes, I'm fucking rich. Like, this is awesome. Just bought a Porsche and stuff like that, looking all cool, you know what I mean? Whatever. And I'm like, well, hold on. Like, I really want to quit my job because I don't like anyone being the boss of me. But $100,000 probably not enough to do it. What if I take all this money and I put it into fucking stocks or options, right? So that was my bright idea, and I ended up losing. A long story short, I ended up losing all my money, right? I basically had like, $500 in the bank or something. I lost a whole $100,000 in like 2-3 months or something like that. And I was broke as shit. You know what I mean? I wasn't broke because, I was still working a job. I still had my business. I still had a steady source of income, right? And I think that's probably one of the most important things for me trading personally, because, I own a business still. I do YouTube now and like affiliates or whatever. So that brings in some money, but my business is like my cushion. It makes sure I can pay the rent. I'm traveling the world, or I have been for the past 2 years. Now I'm kind of just like sitting put in Thailand, but I knew all my like basic needs were always covered because I had another source of income, right? And I think that's how I was able to start making, decent amount of money trading. And like this year, I'm red 50K, right, on the year. I have $96,000 in prop firm payouts, but I'm in the hole 145,000, right? But last year I made $200,000 profit from prop firms, and the year before that I was like $100,000 in profit in prop firms or something like that, or 150,000. So even though I'm red on the year, I still have a cushion from the previous years. And that's what's great about trading, right? So, and it could also be very bad with trading.
And technically, that's good risk management, because you knew who you were as a trader. And you're like, dude, I'm not leaving that much in my account because I will do some really dumb stuff with it. And that's allowed you to kind of rediscover what needs to happen to be successful. So good for you, man. Those type of cycles, they happen, right? Even some of the greatest traders of all time, like, dude, those boom and bust cycles happen as long as you protect yourself when you're in a boom. Like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and take some of this, squirrel it away so nobody can mess with it. I'm not gonna mess with it. It keeps you afloat during those hard months where stuff's just not working. You're not on your A game. Like, you're gonna have those windfall years sometimes. And good for you for controlling your risk, because it is what it is. No system's perfect, so it's all about risk management. But you made a killing in the what was it, 0-day stuff? What is it? Options? 0-day options. Yeah, I never really got into the option thing. I wish I would have. I just, all the Greeks and stuff like that, I was like, I don't know about all these Greeks and all this stuff. The DK, and I was like, yeah, F that. I'll just simple.
Dude, it's a ticking time bomb is what options are, dude. So you don't wish you got into it, dude. Trust me. Like, I wish I skipped options and went to futures, because I mean, I don't know what would have happened, right? I mean, I caught giant moves with like 25K and ended up making a lot of money. But with futures, I probably could have got something similar, right? I mean, like, it's kind of the same concept, but with options, every minute that goes by, and if you're wrong, not only are you losing money from, price going against you, but time too. So
yeah,
it's like
time decay.
Just options are brutal.
All right. What I think we're at enough likes. We're somewhere in that realm. What other questions do we have? Let's get some other good questions for you. I like your story because you're honest. You're not trying to lie. And a lot of these people that are sharing their journey, they don't talk about the hard times. They just talk about, oh, look how much I made. Look at this. And it's like, dude, talk about when you actually struggled and you had some problems. And good for you for sharing all sides of it, because that's really what trading is. And you continue to learn. It's not something you become confident or, I guess, good at until years and years in, and you're still learning at all times. So good stuff, man. All right.
Yeah, thank you, dude. I mean, I do that because there's so many people making trading seem like what it's not, dude. It's not. Like, it's not all just roses and daisies making thousands of dollars a day. It's just not. People like to make it seem like that on social media, and I feel like that hurts people the most, because then everyone thinks they'll make a killing trading, and they put all their money in there, like I've done before. I mean, that's how I lost my first, like, all my money, my first $100,000 I ever made from working my balls off for like a year. Right, I lost it all because I saw some dude make $100,000 in one day on on Instagram or some shit, right? And I wanted to do that, so I tried, and I got my ass whooped. But yeah, I mean, I think I had a terrible year this year, right? And showing it doesn't make me feel the best, because especially when I'm losing, people like to talk shit to me, like kind of like kick me while I'm down. So it kind of makes the losing streak suck more.
It's because you're an easy target. You're already down, so they can like talk smack on you, and you're like, it sucks. But look, but the thing is how many traders have you helped by doing that? How many traders have you helped by being transparent and sharing your struggles? Because I think a lot of times people think, trading, because it's so isolating, you don't really share with everybody, but the majority of traders, they're gamblers, right? They don't share it. They just share, when they make a ton of money, but they're not sharing like, shit, I blew up 50 accounts before this, or I did this before this. And they just don't share the downsides to it. And it's like, you got to be real. And thanks for keeping it real. I think that's cool, man.
I believe in transparency, dude.
What other questions we got?
So trading for keeps. He said you watched a video. Yeah, I made a video about how I'm having my worst year ever, and the changes that I implemented were those three things that I mentioned before, right? So now I'm preparing before I start trading by meditating and clearing my mind, right? And I feel like a lot of people don't know how to meditate, so I'll kind of briefly explain it. But basically, you just sit down, so we're super quiet, no music or nothing, just like organic sounds. And whatever thought comes into your head, you close your eyes, and whatever you start thinking about, you're like, oh, move on to the next one. And it's like kind of like I swipe thoughts in my head, like it's on Tinder or something like that. I'm like, nope. And any thought that comes in my head, I just say nope, and I just try thinking about nothing. And then, because we're humans, another thought will just pop up out of nowhere, and you might get caught up in a little bit, and then you realize, oh, I'm thinking about something again. Just nope, swipe it away, or
It's funny. It's the new generation of meditation. It's like the stream, basically, right? I think the way I've heard it explained is you're sitting by a stream, and your thoughts come by, and they just kind of continue to stream down, the stream or river or whatever it is. But yours is like, no, it's you got to swipe. You swipe them off. That's cool. I like that.
Yeah, because I mean, it's
you can relate.
We're in the age of over information, right? Yeah. Never has there been an era where we have so much information at the tips of our fingers, right? ChatGPT, Google, phone in our pocket. We just can know anything we want immediately.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like, that's why I think meditation is like one of the most important things. And it's because we're always thinking so much and so fast, and we got to slow it down, especially when it comes to trading. And that's how I do it personally, right? I think about it like swiping, because I'm on my phone all the time, dude. I'm like 29 years old, you know what I mean? Like I grew up with
really
with
excellent advice. Being centered when trading, it's a huge benefit. I think people fail to realize, like, as a trader, you're dealing with some of the best people in the world, right? And to be on your A game, you really got to think, I'm a professional athlete. I'm going to have some off days. That's okay. But I always have to be prepared, right? And most people don't approach it that way. And that's why they just get run over. So good stuff for identifying and trying to, put in some actionable stuff. Do you gamble on fantasy?
No, we're in a FinTwit fantasy league. It's like me, Tim, Brian Stonk, Lonto, Big Daddy Max, Brett Simba. He's the commissioner. He's the one that started it. We're all in a fantasy football league.
Who's winning?
And you don't get it. I'm in like second place or third place.
Okay,
I actually didn't check.
Who's your quarterback?
No big deal.
Who's your quarterback? Do you remember?
Don't even ask me, low key, dude. I'm so bad at it.
Did you use ChatGPT to build your team? Be honest, right now. No.
No. I used IFT, Inner Football Inner Football Trader. It's one of my buddies. I just know he's a pro at it, so he kind of helped me build my team. And I've been
you're in second place. Have you thanked him for that?
I have, yeah. We
Okay,
talk all the
good
time.
stuff.
It's my
All
boy
right.
from when I lived in Chicago. Yeah, he's a gangster. He's really good. And I haven't looked at it in a hot minute, so I totally forget who's even on my team. But yeah, Tim's been trying to get CMC out of me for a while, and it's just not gonna happen. Kyle, it's no longer the Kyle I used to see. You evolved, brother. That'll happen, dude. I mean, I've blown so many fucking accounts, dude. There's a ridiculous amount, and you know, if you're not changing, if you're not constantly adapting and fixing what's wrong, then are you actually growing? Are you actually becoming better? And like Brian said, trading is like the hardest sport in the world. like you gotta be, you know, you gotta have a competitive edge, and
Yeah,
you gotta
you're
learn
going
what the
up
market's
against
doing.
some of the smartest money in the world. It's like,
Yeah.
dude, to expect a lot of
it's-
people expect never to lose. It's like, dude, you're gonna lose sometimes. It's okay as long
Yeah.
as you're not losing your butt every single time and you're making money on your good ones. So I think people will underestimate what it's going to take to be a trader. So good for you for having a growth mindset, though, man. If you continue to build and continue to get better and find different ways to improve, that's really who ends up being the winner in this game. Where people, you know, they get closed off and they don't want to hear, you know, anything. They just think they're right. You're just never going to make it in trading. Good luck.
Yeah, exactly. And the market's always changing, right? So something that worked last month might not work this month. So if you can adapt, then you have to at least be able to identify where your strategy or your edge or whatever works in like what type of market, because there's market cycles, right? So it's like if you can't adapt, I think you're just gonna fail, dude. Like I just can't see someone that like an old dinosaur, right? Like some of these super old men that trade, or they used to be like really good at floor trading. They can't do the trading that we're doing nowadays because it's so different, right? Like they don't get the data from the floor, from their friends or whatever. They're not going for like 10 points, 10 ticks, whatever. Like you said, like most traders are gamblers, and I think all scalpers are gamblers because one guy somewhere in the world could blow up your trade if you're scalping for 10 points, 20 points. Like one person, you know, South Korea, Kim Jong-un in North Korea could blow up your trade if he wanted to, if you're scalping, dude. Like he just can.
Like blow it up with missiles or blow it up like by
he could
buying?
launch a missile, or he could just fucking, you know, do a
Okay.
$1,000 buy or something like that. Like institutions can just cook your trade in 1 second if you have a 20-point stop loss, right? I mean, it's a fact, right? One trader somewhere else can cook your trade by themselves if they have big enough size. And that's why I don't really believe in scalping for like long-term success. That's why I'm such a big fan of trends, right? Like now I do scalp because, you know, it's in theory a little bit safer because it's not, market's not always trending, right? But like just habitual scalping long term, unless your risk management is like super amazing and you actually do let some of your scalp run, I just don't think people will be profitable, dude, if they don't do that. I think you have to catch a runner because yeah, there's going to be those months, weeks, 9 months for me, for example, you know what I mean, where I'm just losing my ass, you know what I mean? I had some good days, but my risk management wasn't on point, so I'd blow up, and I really wouldn't hold runners that often. I think that's what's been cooking me this year, personally.
All right, I think we're good to go. Raj, are we ready to do the giveaway? It's the marble game.
Ooh, I haven't seen this one yet. I love the Ducky Rays. So funny. Tyler G. Capital, you guys know him? So funny when he does the Ducky Rays, dude. His New Jersey accent, his ducky hat. That's my boy, Tyler G, baby. He's a guy that loves diamond handing trends, too. Holy shit, we got Booga Wooga. Oh, was in first place. Oh, this is pretty lit, dude. This is like those like Instagram videos of like podcasts, but then they have that thing below to keep your attention.
Yeah.
So everyone's got that attention span of a squirrel nowadays. Oh, dude,
Oh, they fell off.
Oh, are they just out?
Yeah,
just
yeah,
eliminated?
They're dead. They're gone.
Rest in peace,
The market,
Booga
bro, it just
Wooga.
takes you out.
Yeah. Yeah, Booga Wooga was in first place, so then
No,
boom.
you got taken out, man.
He was trying to long, and that cliff got him.
He's going counter trend.
Yeah. He was trying to counter trend trade. No, he was trying to trade with the trend yesterday,
Okay.
right? But he didn't realize the trend shifted into a cliff, and he tried to knife catch and got ran over. Which actually is exactly what happened to me yesterday. I knife caught twice, and then eventually I was like, I'm just gonna join the trend, and I ended up green yesterday. Even after 2 losers, one green trade, or one good trade got me green on the day.
Some lead changes going on right here through here.
Dude, I'm a little confused on what's going on. This is madness. There's so many balls everywhere. Oh, Saul, do you ever trade micros or stick to 1 mini? Oh, I did a challenge for myself personally. I told myself I'd only trade micros for 1 to 2 months.
Oh, wow, did he just skip?
And I did do it.
Oh nope, he went off.
Oh, he's dead.
Oh, he got.
he had such a huge lead there. That
Oh, okay, there's our first winner.
Oh, the tush. Congratulations, brother. Oh, you just don't know if you're gonna get cooked or not.
Yeah.
Right, you're up. Oh,
Yeah.
we made it.
Yeah, we'll do the top 3. All right, Jose.
Oh,
no, you blew up.
Jose.
Oh,
Fabian's
Fabian's
no.
All right, it's
Oh.
Maria.
Oh, Maria, nice.
All right, top 3 giveaway. Raj will send out an email. Everybody else, sorry you guys didn't win.
You still get cool points. Who said that being Guzexo? You still look cool because you're on the leaderboards, dude. Count that as a W.
Yeah. All right, so 60% use a DGT. He will get the credit. We appreciate you coming on. We appreciate you sharing your story with us and being real about it. It's a nice change of pace. A lot of the stuff that we see on social media or wherever, it's all BS, and it's nice. And that's why we bring people on the show that actually we realize that they're real traders, because they go through the ups and the downs and they risk accordingly. Like, that's who we have on our show. So we appreciate you coming on. Cool. What else? Any other questions? We want to be respectful of his time. So if we don't have any other compelling questions, we'll probably go ahead and cut off the show. What do we got, guys? Anything else?
Final question. I lost multiple accounts because I traded when I was in a bad mood because of something bad happened in work or home. So clearing your emotions before jumping into charts really do help. Big facts. That's meditation right there is what helped me. Yesterday I was trading hungover. I went to a ping pong show in Thailand, and it's not just like 2 Thai people playing ping pong. Like, Google it, Thailand ping pong show.
I don't think I want to Google that.
It's super funny, but yeah, if you gotta have a certain level of tolerance for that. But yeah, no, Pandora's spot on. I mean, I was hungover as shit yesterday. I was knife catching, and that's probably why I was being a dumbass. Usually I'm looking for cliffs, but my emotions weren't in check. Exactly, Pandora. Just knowing when not to trade is probably what separates most traders that will survive from the ones that won't survive.
Where's the next trip?
Pine tree trader, what up, dude? So Australia, but I have been traveling nonstop for 2 years. I'm finally settled down for like 2 months. I have a nice, cool crib in Thailand. I'm chilling right now. I'm planning on going to Australia. It's just I'm chilling for now. It's 2 years out of living out of a suitcase. It's super fun. It's super awesome and fun, but the mental toll is huge. It's exhausting. But to answer your question, Australia, dude, hopefully get to box some kangaroos or something like that. Not box them, like maybe give them a hug or something. Do you hone in on one setup or try to diversify setups, have more opportunities? I don't hone in on one setup. I literally just play price action and pivot points. That's pretty much what I do.
It works.
Yeah.
And if you want to know what he's doing, I mean, join his show in the morning. Check it out. He's honest, which is great. So he's going to tell you what he's going to do beforehand. He's not basing it on some weird algorithm or shit like that. You know, it's not smoke and mirrors. It's his thoughts. It's his process, and he puts it out there. So like, catch his show. See if it matches your style. Right. It's really important to find things that match your style as a trader.
Yeah.
Cool. If we don't have any other questions, we're going to go ahead and jump off here. Thank you so much for coming on the show. We appreciate it. Use code DGT. We do have a 60 off. It's expiring soon. Cool. All right, guys.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you, the Futures Desk.
Thanks, guys.
Love you guys. Keep killing it. And I cannot wait for what you guys are about to drop, because I am going to start having the Futures Desk as my lead account, because they showed me something super cool. I can't really say what it is yet, but just you guys can watch me live every day at 9:15 a.m. EST. Watch it using the new software that's going to drop soon. I'm sorry if I spoiled you guys. You're
good,
but
you share what you want to share, man.
You guys did like a little like beta test with me, and I'm so hyped for it, because I feel like this is the next step in my trading journey, where I'm basically going to make up names for every trade that I take and every setup, and I'm going to start compiling data like you were talking about earlier. Because right now, I don't really have like a massive database of every single trade, naming every single trade, and how I'm feeling each morning and stuff like that. That I can compile into one data set. So I'm super excited for that, and hopefully I'm going to be a live trader here with the Futures Desk soon. I can't wait for those daily payouts. I mean, it's going to be beautiful. But thank you very much for having me on, Brian. You're awesome. Very, very nice to meet you. I already met the rest of the team, but I didn't meet you yet, dude. But you're a wonderful addition, dude. I love the whole Futures Desk team. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining us. Thanks again.
Salute.
Peace.